Hello everyone. Good evening. I would like to start our lecture. Uh, Today we are going to take the second lecture regarding our book. Okay. I'm going to speak about the linguistic science. We have here a definition for language. If I ask you what is the definition of language, you can say language is often defined as a system of signs. Okay, this is a definition of language. If I ask you what is a sign, you can say a sign is roughly defined as something which stands for something else. Okay, such as we have traffic light. Traffic light, as you know, what are the color of the traffic light? We have the red, green, and we have yellow. But the most important thing we have taken the red and the green colors are signs which are stand for stop. The color red, that's mean you stop. For the driver, he cannot walk. That's a sign. And go, the green, the green uh, sign, that mean you go, as understood by the driver. As you know, we have another example. For example, I will ask you an exam. I ask you, tell me what are the traffic line signs. Example, give me just like that. You give it to me. We say the traffic lights, we have just like the red and the green colors are signs which are stand for the stop and go as understood by the driver. We have another example. A policeman who puts up his hands to stop the traffic light is a sign. Just by pointing, by put up his hand, that's mean you are stopped. This is a sign. Okay. And also we have another example. Smoking coming out of a window is a sign which points to fire in the place. When you see there's a fire from the place, that's mean a sign. Okay, this is another example. All these are signs which stand for certain things or ideas. However, the most common type, the most common type of sign is linguistic science. If I ask you an exam, what define to me linguistic science, you can say linguistic science are used by human being to communicate. Okay, that's next. Translation. If I ask you, define to me translation. What is the definition of translation? You can't say is sometimes viewed as a process of replacing a linguistic sign by another linguistics or non-linguistic signs. Okay, this is a definition of the translation. I will repeat it again. Translation is sometimes reviewed as a process of replacing a linguistic sign by another linguistics or non-linguistic sign. Thus, we have three types of translation, may be recognized by Jacobson, Jacobson in 1966 at the page 233. We have number one, replacing linguistic science by other linguistic science in the same sometimes term rewording, or this is language of interpreting. We have the second point, replacing the linguistic science by the other linguistic science in different language. This is termed a translation proper. And the third one, replacing linguistic science by non-linguistic science. This is transmutation, such as in translating a play into opera or into music. Here, these are the three kinds, or we can say three types of translation. If I ask you an exam, what are the three types of translation thus published or recognized by Jacobson in 1960 or 233? Okay, maybe you answered the three, but we have the first one, replacing linguistic science by the other linguistic science at the same time term rewarding this language interpreting. That's used here. Reforming, that's mean. The reforming or renewing. This is a language of interpretation. That's mean. Okay. The second one, replacing linguistic sign by the other linguistic sign in different language. That's when you use another language. Okay. This is term translation proper. Okay. The third one, replacing linguistic sign by non-linguistic sign. This is a transmutation. That means a transformation, uh, such as in translating a play or a drama, as you know, whatever tragic or comedy, into opera, or change it into music. Let's move to next. We have translation. Translation can both as process and products. Or products is concerned with the language. It is a linguistics activity. Translation theories may be divided into main classes. We have literary theories of translation, and we have linguistic theories of translation. Uh, we have two kinds of the theories of translation. We have first literary theories of translation, and we have linguistic theories of translation. Number one, literary theories of translation are based on various schools of literary criticism and consider translation as an art. As you know, you have studied art, you poetry, you studied drama, as you know, short story tales, novels. Such theories view translation as an activity which is essential for comparative study of literature. These theories are characterized by being highly subjective. Here we have number one. If I ask you an exam, what are the kinds of translation theories? You can answer me literary theories of translation. If I ask you, maybe I bring it just like in dashes, or bring it to you as definition. Or you can. Or maybe I will ask you, uh, what are the kinds? What are the what are the main kinds of classes? The translation theories. You can answer me. Number one, literary theories of translation, and we have this is number one. Number two, linguistic theories of translation. We are going to speak it in next page. Let's move. Number two, linguistic theories of translation seek a more objective basis for a translation studies. That means you need more basis for translation that studies. They make use of various linguistic theories. For these scholars, a translation theory is a part of a general linguistic theory. They explore basic linguistic categories to investigate the problems of translation. Okay, this is connected with the science, and that's me. Okay, let's move to the next page. Uh, Translation as a process and product. Could be a process and product. The term translation is that define. What's mean the term of translation is used for both process and product. Okay, maybe an exam I will bring it just like a dashes, or maybe I bring it to definition. Okay, so you have to focus on that very important point. uh, the term translation is used for both a process and product. As a process, translation is a human activity which has been practiced by nearly every person at one time or another. Okay, translation in this sense has a broad sense. We thus speak of someone translating an expression into another similar expression in the same language. We also use the term for translating utterances from one language into another, from translating words into music or even into action. Here, we have the most important thing in this page. We have to focus about the term of translation. What is that? You have to know about it. It's used for both process and protect. And process, as process, translation is a human activity which has been practiced by nearly every person at one time. Let's move to the next. The term translation is also used for the product. Uh, we said in the previous page is used for the process. Here we have used for a product. This also for a human activity. Also the process used for at the previous page for a human activity. But here we have various translated texts have reached us from ancient civilization, namely the Babylonian, okay, and Assyrian, the Egyptian, and the Greek and the Roman civilization. They provide us with essential information about the life of these ancient societies. Uh, Here we have this product of a human activity in the history. That's me. We have a lot of civilization, just like approximately 7,000 years. Okay, in the history they have some text and they that's product uh, brought it to us. Okay, and you have to focus about the red line here. We have just like translation and it's used for the product of a human of this human activity. Clear? Hopefully it will be clear. And if I ask you what are the ancient civilization, you can say uh, Babylonian and the Assyrian and Egyptian, the Greek and the Roman civilization. Let's move to the next page. Definition of translation. There are several useful definition of translation, but probably the most workable one of this one is the following. Translation is replacing the text in one language by another text in another language. That's mean the term translation here is giving a narrower sense than mentioned in the first. We have here the first is based on text translation. Okay, that's mean a text is a linguistic unit which is higher than a sentence and uh, consists of one sentence or more. Here it's highly dependent on the context and maybe oral or written. Here just I would like to tell you something about translation. When you say oral, that means you are listening and you are speaking. But in written, that means you read and write. Okay, let's move to the next page. Secondly, the definition of that means definition of translation involves two language, which is language is often termed rewording or interpretation. Translation proper is always between two languages. A text may be appear in several languages, as in Arabic story may be rendered or made into English, changed into English, French, German, Chinese. But basically, every time the process of translation is practiced, is taken between two languages only. For example, here we have the whole text may be replaced as with more uh, translation. For example, we have here I was listening to the radio. That's mean in Arabic كنت أصغي إلى المذياع. Or part of the text may be rendered into another language, as in the 3 كنت أصغي إلى الراديو. We have the same word but we can't change it, media or radio. In this example, the term okay is not translated from one reason to another. It's directly borrowed from the original. That you can borrow the same word from original word. Today we have finished our lecture. I wish you have a nice and a lovely day. And if you have any question, please don't be hesitated to ask. And I wish you